So you have
Welcome
seen
everyone.
us today.
Welcome everyone.
We've talked with a couple of you guys. Welcome and welcome us also, because this is your home for the next few days. It's not ours. So
We are here
we
to
are
work.
the foreigners. We are two NGOs and we have united to do this job in El Palmar. You can talk a little bit about your...
We have a project, a collaboration project with the American Embassy. So they gave us the money to do whatever we want. So we choose like different cities in Spain. We chose Barcelona, Valencia, and Cádiz to do the project with the schools and cleanups. So our NGO is Bioagradables. We funded in 2012, and we do coastal cleanups every month in Valencia, the east side of Spain. And we do environmental educations because we think like the cleanups are not the solution, but it is a tool to raise the awareness. So we want the kids to touch the trash with their own hands, so they realize the problem that we have in the oceans and the problem that we have with the consumption nowadays in our society. And we decided to collaborate with Plastic Oceans because they are really nice people, and they are like a big foundation with a lot of projects. And we met in social media, and we wanted to do a project together. So that's how we are together today here in El Palmar. So we did this morning a cleanup with the school of El Palmar, with 24 kids from 5th and 6th grade, that is 12 years old, 10 to 12, more or less, no? And we collect 10 kilos of trash, but it was like 1,600 cigarette butts, because it was like small pieces, because that's not a big number of kilos, but we collect a lot of small pieces, like straws, small pieces of plastic, and a lot of cigarette butts, because of the, I don't know, maybe the bar, the clubs near the beach, there were hundreds of cigarette butts. And this afternoon, we wanted to do activity with you guys, with Nexo, because we are staying here, and we want to create this talk like it's like an introduction about the oceans and about the work we do. But the cool thing is, like, then before the surf lesson, we're going to do like a small cleanup. So you guys also, because environmental education is always focused to the children, to kids, but also grown-ups and adults, we need a lot of work and to refresh our values and our thinking to raise awareness between the adults, because I think it's like also important to think about the habits of consumption that we have, and rethink a little bit about our plastic consumption, fashion consumption, I don't know, about a lot of stuff, no, that is happening nowadays.
Very good.
Finish.
Yeah, so it's basically, we love to do talks, but we also like to do the beach cleanup because it encourages to act, you know, because we think that right now we know a lot of information and we're always like reading and seeing social media and all these things, but we need to act, and it's a problem that is like every day growing more and more and more in a really, really fast pace. So it's like time to start acting as children, as adults, as like wherever we are, it doesn't matter. In Plastic Oceans, we work in all Europe. We're not only here in Spain. So if you're from your countries and whatever, and you know of projects that we can also do there, education projects, whatever, they're very, very welcome. And yes, Emilio was saying, first we're going to talk a little bit about the oceans. So the oceans are very important for us, and we thought it was very important to come and talk to you guys because you're every single day for this week in touch with the oceans, and the oceans are like one of our main sources of oxygen. It actually gives us more than 50% of the oxygen that we breathe. Because of its plants, of its phytoplankton, of the corals, of like all the ecosystem, and like if we destroy it, then it's oxygen that we are like missing. Yeah.
We're losing oxygen.
No, not good. So it's very, very important to take care of the oceans, and right now the oceans are suffering. Like, they're suffering so much because our consumption habits, basically. It's not like it's your fault and the government's fault. It's no one's fault. It's
Everyone's fault.
Everyone's fault. Yeah, and we can all do something from wherever we are, because even if I'm a kid, or I work in an NGO, or I work in a company, if I am a mother or if I'm not, we can all do things in our everyday life to change the actual scenario of the oceans, like flooding in
The cool
plastic.
thing about that is humans are part of the problem and of the solution, because we are creating these kind of disasters, but we also have the opportunity to choose what we buy, to choose what we consume in a more sustainable way, so we can reduce the impact of plastic, of animal abuse, and a lot of problems that is happening right now. And it's really encouraging that more people every day, we see it on the lunchtime, that everybody asks for the vegetarian dish. So it's like a kind of encouraging thing that every day there is more people thinking about the impact of their choices on the planet than 10 years ago, 5 years ago. So it's really cool that to be here, like surf community is supposed to be like more engaged with the oceans, and it's happening. Like this group is like really engaged to the ocean, and it's also cool for you to realize on the cleanup that all the plastic and all the trash that we will find is coming from human consumption. It's like the cigarette butts, it's plastic straws, and plastic bags and everything. So we are both part of the solution and of the problem.
Yeah, so for example, sometimes we say, no, it's the people who leave the trash by the beach and that's it, that's a problem. But actually 80% of the trash that goes into the ocean come from the coastlines and from the rivers. So it's not only the people who leave it behind, but it's all of us, because we are all the time consuming and throwing away, as if away actually was away. But our oceans are the biggest dumpster there is in the planet, because most of the trash ends up there, like one way or the other, by the oceans. Like straight into the ocean, by the rivers, by the cities, by every source of water ends up in the ocean. So it's like everything we do at home, everything we do in our offices, everything we do at school will affect the oceans one way or another. And sometimes we live in, like, for example, I grew up in a huge city, like very far away from the ocean. And I talk to my friends there, and they have no idea. They're like, but what will change in the ocean if I change here? And I'm like, everything, everything is connected. And it's something that has happened through the years, that we have lost this connection with nature, and we have lost this sense of connection between all the ecosystems. So we just believe that humans are something apart from nature and something like independent, and that you guys in Germany or in Holland or in wherever you are from, or Switzerland, have nothing to do with the people in South America or the people in Spain, but we're all connected, and everything that we do there will affect the people from here, and everything that we do here will affect the people from there. So it's very, it's a huge impact. And I traveled through Asia for a while, and I went to beaches that there was no one living around, and the beach was full of plastic, but full in a amazing paradise, manta rays, sharks, everything, and full of plastic. And that was very, very shocking, because there was no people around. So that plastic came from another part, and I started seeing where the plastic came from, and it was all countries were there. So
that's funny stuff, because we, in our cleanups in Valencia, we have found trash from Morocco, from Poland, from China. So you see the Coke, and it's in Polish. It's in Polish. So it's so the trash has traveled all the way up to the beach from Poland to Valencia, or from China to Valencia. So that gives you the idea, the bigger picture, the ocean currents are traveling, because that's the way it works, and the trash is traveling with the currents. That's why exists the Pacific garbage patch, no, the island of plastic, and also in the Mediterranean we have like a small island of plastic, like 7 islands of plastics, because of the currents of the sea and of the ocean. So that's the message. Like, we are all connected. Everything you do in your daily life, it will affect to the life of other people in different countries.
Yeah, and we kind of encourage people to do what they can where they are, you know, because we don't like to go and point at each other and like, you're not doing that, you're lacking this or whatever. But there's like different parts in this problem, and it's like people like us, consumers. There's also the producers or the companies, and the people who produce the plastic and everything, and there's the governments. And I think in the 3 sides we have to all work like parallelly to make something happen, because sometimes as consumers we say like, no, but if they don't change, nothing's going to change. But actually we have the power, you know, like we have so much power, and we actually don't realize about that, because if we all here stop like buying this plastic item in the supermarket, or if we all start buying sustainable clothing, it's like, I don't know, 30 people who are going to be supporting these kind of actions, and there's going to be more movement in those things, and these supermarkets have to change, you know. So it's like, we love like seeing this as a huge problem as it is, but also like in a very positive and motivational way. Like, it's not over yet, you know.
Yeah, we have to be optimistic.
We have future generations. We have like so many things happening in the future and everything, and we can change it. It doesn't matter how old we are or how young we are. We all can do something, and well, that's our mission basically.
Yeah, and every single step, every little change that we do, it will help to the solution. If we don't do that, we are not helping to the solution. So the problem is so huge that we need to do steps. Sometimes there is a new word that comes up because of the climate change and everything. It's like eco-anxiety. So you want to save the world, doing everything like going vegan, buying sustainable, going zero waste and everything. But only one person cannot change everything. But if we do like small changes in our normal life, we will help to the whole movement to how you say that, to make the planet more healthy. So it's not like we have to do everything, but every little change that we do, it will make a difference against the huge problem. So it's like we have to be optimistic. Like every little thing that we do, it makes sense in our lives. It's not like the more you do, the better. But it's not like we have to do everything on our own. No, like we have to like build communities, do small changes and everything.
Yeah, and see also what works better for us, and like start somehow. So maybe I eat meat, and I want to start eating meat only once a week, or become a vegetarian, or become vegan, or whatever. Like, depends on your needs, on your context also. Maybe go to work on a bicycle instead of using the car every day. Maybe go to the grocery store every Monday instead of going every 3 days, and go with your bags and go to the shops where you know that you can do bulk shopping and buy without plastic and things like that. So there's many areas where you can actually do things. Actually, one of the kids this morning said like, oh, but you have to delete the emails from your email when you don't use them, because that also produces CO2. And I'm like, how old are you?
Yeah,
Come on, you know? So even that, you know, even if you get like a spam message, delete it, and it's not going to be there anymore, because we're also consuming everything. Consumption is not only buying stuff, but we're all the time consuming things, and consuming that data, and consuming media, and consuming everything. So if we do it like in a conscious way and in a positive way, we can make a huge change, and each one of us can make a huge change. Like we have way, like I already said this, but we have way more power than what we think.
So
Perfecto. I don't know, any questions, or
you want to add something, like comment, like maybe the small changes that you're doing in your normal life?
Or if you're not doing and you want to do, or if you don't want to do and you want
don't
to share,
judge.
why
We
not?
don't judge.
We don't judge.
You can speak.
Yeah. Exactly.
Anyone?
No? for you?
Yeah.
I think it's definitely true, and always good to motivate. Start with the children, and the children teach the parents, which is also very useful. But I think also technology can make a difference. And do you think? I mean, are there any means, to prevent the circulation from the river, of plastic bottles to the sea? And do you see any useful tools and ways which we can also maybe support? In a technological
there is a lot of
manner?
initiatives.
I think that's very good, and like there's ocean cleanups, and they're cleaning all these islands, these plastic islands and the rivers and everything. But what I usually say to people when they tell me this is that, okay, yeah, we can clean it, but more rubbish is going to go there, and more trash, because if we keep consuming the way we consume, it's never going to stop. So we can have all the technology in the world, but it's going to be bigger and bigger and bigger. So we have to stop here and to clean this.
Yeah,
so it's like on both sides.
Absolutely.
Change the mindset, and then in the meantime, you can start with the technology, with these projects that are clean the oceans. I think it's Holland, or I don't know. Holland. They have like the rivers with a filter, with like a machine that it cleans up the river. So these kind of initiatives are really cool, but it have to come with something else. With the change of mindset, like changing society, governments supporting more sustainable energy or more sustainable packaging. Like the problem is so huge. It is like how you say that?
Yes.
Transversal. And that is like there's no one solution. We have to like start like small solutions to achieve all the problem. More comments? Any language is welcome.
I guess we have to start to think in circles. Like there is no garbage. Everything can be used, so that's the solution.
Resources.
So that's very important. Now that you mention it, it's like we always rely on recycling, and sometimes I don't know, in your countries maybe it's more advanced, but in Spain recycling is a big lie, like a huge lie. And everyone just relies. It's like, oh no, but I'm helping the planet because I recycle. And you start talking to the people and you tell them, like, do you actually know how the plastic is being recycled here? And I have no idea. And most of the plastic is being like just thrown to other countries, to third world countries, and they
we don't say
actually
third world country.
Sorry, I am part of it.
Okay. You're Colombian,
I come from a third world country. I can say that.
Okay.
Yeah, so like European countries throw it to
China.
No, not China.
Developing countries.
Yeah, and this trash actually goes into the percentages of recycling of the country. So, for example, Spain says, okay, we recycle 30%, and maybe 15 of that 30% has been like pushed away to another country. So sometimes we don't know the truth about it. So I think one of the most important things is leave recycling for the last option. First, like we have to rethink our way of living. How can we live more sustainable and start acting and start doing small things, small changes? I'm more of a person that does like a huge, massive change, and then I find the balance. So like I went like plastic free for 2 years, but like nothing of plastic, and now I find a balance.
Living clothes, polyester, nylon.
I don't buy clothes for 3 years.
But you use them.
I use them.
Okay.
Yeah. I get second-hand clothes.
Okay.
Yeah, so I go more for the other side, but I understand that it's not so easy. Like I had to go through many different moments.
In
Barcelona. Yeah.
You have more questions for her.
No,
How did you do it?
I've been there around 6 months in Spain, and it's so difficult. Like in Berlin, it's no problem shopping without any packages and stuff like this. I'm really trying to get everything but here it's so difficult. Like if you don't have a market around you, something like this, like if you have to rely on the supermarket,
it depends on where you live. Where I live, there's many shops where you can buy. Like obviously, it's easier to go to the supermarket and just do everything there. But if you can choose and pick and like organize your life to do it in the correct way, then you would be better.
Now it's easier than 5 years ago.
Yeah. Sure.
So imagine that.
Exactly.
So maybe in 10 years, maybe we are at the same level that Berlin. I don't think so, but maybe 20 years. But at some point, our cities, we need to get to that point, to that system that you can go outside to do groceries and you can buy without plastic. It's supposed to be like that. It's like circular economy, that we use the resources again and again and again, so we cannot impact in that way to the nature.
Yeah, I think it's also a lot of information about the products you're buying, because you were saying going vegan, like staying in Berlin, it's really popular. It's kind of fashion
trendy,
to be vegan, and now all the companies, big meat companies, are producing vegan stuff wrapped in plastic 10 times.
I am a vegan, or I was a vegan when I became plastic free, and I.
No, and I think it's just a shame,
like,
because people don't know that's one of the worst animal farming companies, and they think they're doing something good because they have no idea what they're doing. It's just because it's a trend now to do that, and I think the information is the thing which is the key to everything.
I think every change we do,
your work.
It has to be consciously, you know, and it's not just change and that's it. Like, I worked with a hotel in the town where I live, and they're like, oh look, we don't have any plastic bottles anymore. We now have this water, and it was water in bricks. Yeah,
the aluminium,
and that's
plastic,
worse than plastic. That's worse than plastic because it's like not recyclable. So I told them, like, why did you do that? Like, no, I don't know. They sold us this as like no plastic water, and I'm like, well, you know, like we should have researched. Yeah,
and that's what I was just going to say.
It's great that you
explain the kids as well, because like there's so much information needed to understand it. Also, with one-time glass, it's also not perfect because of the energy costs and stuff like this. So,
but we I think in our activities with the kids, we try to give all the information, but you know, in some way they understand it.
Sure.
Yeah, because if you start to talk about the numbers, percentages, and everything. You lose the kids, you know. They start running through the sun. And
with kids it has to be more of a game, and they talk a lot. Like, we involve them a lot in their opinions, and
the cool thing is with the schools, we have to like to put the seed, but with companies we also do like a social responsibility activities with companies, and we show them our catering is all vegan, like local and stuff like that. And we talk to the grown-ups, to the adults, about this water is not more sustainable, greenwashing, you know, like it's okay to call sustainable to everything, but you have to know what you're doing. Like, if you're going with the solar panels, that's sustainable, that's a little bit more sustainable, but if you are a meat company, that's not sustainable when you put solar panels. You know, you have to, there is not 100% sustainable, but they're like a small steps. We are getting to.
Of course. They still
and the same, like it's a huge umbrella where we have so many options. So just like choose the ones that you feel more comfortable in the beginning, and then you can get out of your comfort zone and just start making other changes in your life.
Yeah, small steps.
But the most important thing is start, because it's time. Like, we really need everyone to start making changes, and even if they're small, or if you want it to be huge, or however, we encourage a lot of people to give the first step and start changing.
We encourage them to be activists. At the end of the day, it's like to be active about what you believe, to be active about sustainability. Start doing something. Like, don't be on the couch, like saying like, I went vegan, I'm just okay with that. No. Like, no, you have to do like a little bit more to be active about that. Talk about the opportunities and the things that you are doing, so you can inspire more people. So that works like really well. So
the best education is example. So if you start changing things, probably your family, your friends, your coworkers, everyone will start asking you, like, what are you doing, and blah blah blah, and they start also noticing. So it becomes like a big mass of people changing for the good.
And I think it's surf time, so thank you for your attention. And we will talk with the surf monitor.